all of us, to all of you, my subscribers. And we are now on the first week, no, first week of February. And you know what February is? February is the month of love. But it's not only the month of love, it is also the month for culture and the arts. And so, February is a beautiful month. And I would like to talk about love. Love, because February is more focused on love rather than arts and culture. Because we know that love is one beautiful feeling. It is a feeling that actually can make one defy one's parents and can make one risk or forget all about social norm and risk even everything just to be with the beloved, as well as there are those who even go to the extent of committing, of ending one's life just because of love. You know the story of Romeo and Juliet and the many legends about loves which have been being uh, which are being meddled upon by parents. Uh, of course, our heroes and heroines had their own love stories, and we are very much aware, of course, of the love story, many loves of Dr. Jose Rizal. But we are more, but we remember very well, of course, three of the most talk about loves of Dr. Jose Rizal. And ito yung kanyang love for Yuno Rivera, love for Josephine Bracken, and a beautiful Japanese woman named Usei San. And of course, who will ever forget about uh, the palikerong young general, si General Gregorio del Pilar, si General Oyo, no? Goyong rather, si General Goyong. And you know there is this one particular woman who became uh, who played a prominent part in the life story, especially the love of Goyong. Because when Goyong died at Tirad Pass, one of those retrieved articles from his dead body was a locket, inside of which uh, were locks of hair of a woman pala, and this woman was later on came to be known as Remedios, the girlfriend that Goyong had. And there was another woman na kapatid pala nitong si Remedios named Dolores, whose handkerchief was also one of those retrieved articles in the dead body of the young general. And of course, who will ever forget the very tragic love story of Juan Luna and Paz Pardo de Tabera. And there are so many others. I remember also the love story of Banjo Laurel and his wife Linda, and how it ended in tragedy. I was very young then. Sa Paco, nangyari yon ng mapatayin yung si Linda, and the suspect was Banjo Laurel. But of course, I don't think it was proven in court, no? But it was actually a tragic love story for the two of this well-known couple. This blog will be my blog now will be centered, of course. I have chosen that my first blog on love for this month will be the Loves of Oryang, the two Loves of Oryang. And who is Oryang? Oryang is no less than Digla Kambini, or princess of the Katipunan, Gregoria de Jesus. We know that Bonifacio was a widower when he courted Oryang. And during the time he was visiting her uh, in Caloocan, because Caloocan was the place of Oryang, Bonifacio was always in the company of Ladislao Diwa and Teodoro Plata. Teodoro Plata was the cousin of Gregoria de Jesus. And just like many stories during that time, the parents of Oryang were not in favor of Bonifacio. But love triumphed, and the two got married on March 1893 at the Binondo Church. And how old was Oryang at that time? She was only 18 years old, while Bonifacio was 29 years old. A week after, they were married also before the rites of the Katipunan. Of course, the newlyweds had a very, uh, they enjoyed their first few months of being married. They live in Calle Anyahan. And later on, Uriang found out that being the wife of a Katipunero, and not just a mere Katipunero, but the Supremo of the Katipunan, was not an easy life. But she loved Andres, and so she embraced whatever Andres' principle was, whatever Andres was fighting for. So, she supported her husband through and through. And as the wife of the Katipunan Supremo, she was given the privilege of securing or important documents, the seal of the Katipunan, and some arms. And if we are going to look at the narration done by Gregoria de Jesus, when she talked about uh, her life as the wife of a Katipunero, she stated that there were many times, no, during those particular period in our history, that she would be uh, on the run. She would be roaming around the what you call she would be roaming around along the Bay of Tondo, bringing with her all the important documents, seal, and some arms of the Katipunan, riding on a vehicle with closed windows, because they received warnings that the Veterana police would be searching the houses of suspected Katipuneros. So she would not want any of the of her countrymen to be implicated. So there were times she stated that because the search might the warning would be known to them. Most of the time it would be done uh, uh, 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 8 o'clock in the evening. And so, hindi na siya nakakakain. Iniiwanan na niya yung kanyang pagkain, and she would be uh, uh, roaming around nga along Tondo Bay, along the Bay of Tondo, para mapangalagaan ang kanyang mga kababayan. Uh, so this time actually, Oryang was nurturing not only love of a man, not only love for a man, but she was also nurturing now the love for her countrymen and the love for her country. So na ibang level na yung mapagmamahal ni Oryang. Hindi lang sa asawa niya, kundi pati na sa bayan at sa kanyang mga kababayan. Oryang also gave birth to a boy, and the boy was named after Bonifacio Andres Jr. And Pio Valenzuela stood as the godfather of the boy. However, the boy died because of smallpox, and Oryang had her saddest, lowest moment in her life because of the death of her dear child. We knew that the Katipunan was discovered later on. And when the Katipunan was discovered, never for a moment did Oryang think of abandoning her husband or not supporting her husband or not going with her husband. She went with with him in hiding, and she disguised as Manuela Gonzaga, and then she went first in Balintawak. She got parted with Bonifacio. Then she went to the mountains, and then they were able to see each other again in San Francisco del Monte, and then they were parted again. And the last time they see each other was in Cavite, and that was to be the last moment that they would be together. When the men of Aguinaldo captured Bonifacio, Oryang was not freed from humiliation. She was able to run it. She was able to go to the forest, but she was captured also. And she was humiliated by the men of Aguinaldo. Not only humiliated, but she was subjected. She was dishonored. She was subjected to uh, she was subjected to her purity as a woman was violated by no less than one of the generals of the Katipunan of the government of Aguinaldo, General Agapito Bonson or General Into. So she was violated. Her purity as a woman was violated. During the trial of Aguinaldo, and Oryang was also subjected to questioning. Oryang did not categorically stated that she was raped, but it was implied. Perhaps Oryang did not like her husband to be further hurt because of what happened to her. She would like to spare her husband from further hurt, from further pain, from further humiliation, from further insult, a heap by the very men who were once with him in the Katipunan. So Bonifacio was taken away from Oryang. How painful it was for them. They were a young couple. They needed to be together. They were young. They had so much still for the future, but it was cut short by no less than the men, the Filipino men who were once part of the Katipunan. Uh, their countrymen deprived the couple the chance to be happy together. So Bonifacio was executed by the men of Aguinaldo. Oryang was left to live a life of pain, of sadness. She endured, thinking that she endured with so much pain in her heart because she was not able to see even the remains of her beloved Andres. She was only 22 years old when she became a widow on May 22, 1897. So, she lived in the mountains of Pasig as a refugee. It was while in Pasig that she met Julio Nakpil, a former secretary of Bonifacio and commander of the Katipunan forces in the battles fought in Montalban and San Mateo, Rizal. They fell in love, or Young fell in love again, and she and Nakpil got married in Quiapo Church on December 10, 1897, months after Andres died. They were blessed with 8 children, two of whom two of these children died while they were still very young. So, Oryang lived with Nakpil happily in Quiapo. On March 15, she died because of heart ailment. March 15, 1943, she died in Quiapo in the house of Ariston Bautista. And she died because of heart ailment. She left behind her husband Julio, and Julio died at age 93. Uh, in the past, whenever my mother or my lola, when my lola was still alive, we be talking about yung mga nabiyudo, nabiyuda. And we talk about pag namatay sila, with whom they will be with whom they will be in heaven. And my lola would tell us, I don't know how true this is, no, but this is how my lola uh, made us believe, no, that if you have been married not only once but twice or several times, when you died and when you go to heaven in the afterlife, there you will be welcomed by the first partner that you had here on earth, the first wife or the first husband. Kayong dalawa daw ang magkakasama doon sa langit. Not the second, not the third. So it's the first wife or the first husband, the first partner that you had while you were here, that will be the one you'll be with when you are there in heaven. So if that is true, perhaps Aguinaldo Andres welcome Oryang, and the happiness that they were deprived of while they were here on earth, they are perhaps having it, experiencing it, enjoying life together in the kingdom of our Father in heaven. And so, what they were deprived of here on earth, they are enjoying it in heaven. So that's the story of the loves of Oryang. Her love for Andres, and then her love for Julio Nakpil. So, this is all for this date. And more blogs on love, culture, and arts for this month of February. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Just Me, Amalia. And I love you all. Thank you. Keep safe because we are almost there. We are almost going back to normal. And perhaps with the grace of the Lord, we will be able to enjoy our normal lives once again. Not so, ano bang tawag mo doon? Hindi na magtatagal. No? Hindi na, soon na. So again, maraming salamat. Mahal ko kayong lahat na aking mga subscribers. You're making this old woman really very happy because of your continuously watching me in this channel, Just Me, Amalia. Again, I will repeat, I love you all. Bye-bye.